I've seen many of built different moments in my decade plus of watching unhealthy amounts of anime, but that has to be one of the most John Wick built different moments I've seen in an anime. One of the best things in the John Wick franchise is the pencil gag about what he was able to accomplish with a effing pencil. Shinzo, the character, who likes to hide in a garbage pail of mecha death and guns galore, has a freaking fork. And we know these characters are superhuman. Like, that's already been established, so we don't need any like, oh, could that really happen? Throws that thing like it was a goddamn crossbow launching a bolt through a sniper rifle's barrel. I've seen many of things that made me go, did that just happen? And that has to be one of the biggest did that just happen moments I've seen. That is something straight out of goddamn John Wick if John Wick had some slight alterations in superpowers. Brilliant. Full live reactions over on my Patreon if you want to see my full and good thoughts to this or any of these Mission Yozakura episodes. It's gonna be over there if you're interested. So far, you're keeping these videos going on the channel. If you like these videos, make sure you continue to support it because we're getting closer and closer to Demon Slayer airing, and if this show doesn't do well enough, it's gonna get on the chopping block and be a Patreon exclusive. So keep up the support. You're doing well so far, and I appreciate you because I love this show. I think it's absolutely freaking fun. And an episode like this, we get to see a lot of Kengo, who up until this episode was my favorite character, and I'm leaving this episode saying the same thing. Makes me question myself half the time when I'm like, God damn, this... Just keep the mask on and we're okay, Kengo, but Master of the Skies. But they also snuck in this boy who, honestly, I didn't expect he had issues when he doesn't have guns. But now it's kind of making sense why he probably likes to hide in that trash can as much as he does. So, I actually want to talk about him first, because Shinzo's an interesting beast because he looks so confident. Like, out of every character in this household, I felt like he was one of the most, like, focused, locked in, less of a weirdo, just kind of felt like a gun maniac, if anything. And the idea that he goes on this mission, and we learn that if he doesn't have guns, if he doesn't have ammo, he's like nothing. He's pathetic. He's a crybaby. Like, he feels like it's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation. You put a gun in his hands, he's goddamn Rambo. If he's out of ammo, he's like, oh no, I can't do... And I'm like, I didn't see that coming. Maybe his other people thought there was like signs of something like this. I didn't think that. I thought he was just like either normally calm or just super like locked in and focused. And it was interesting because what ends up happening is he has to disarm himself because our boy gets a nasty shot in the thigh. And anyone who knows about like, you'll see this, I think the most often thing you'll see in movies and shows is characters getting stabbed in the leg. Because it's like, oh, if you rip that out, you're gonna gush blood and die within a couple of minutes. There's just a lot of, like, vital spots that you can hit and just really rupture shit. So, getting shot with a sniper rifle up close like that, yeah, our boy was gonna die within 2 minutes. And we learned that if he ever, like, disarms himself, like, he'll do it to protect anyone he cares for, but that puts him in a situation where he's no longer gonna be able to protect the thing that he is. And in this case, it's our boy. And that's when you give him something to hold. And I think it's interesting because the fork wasn't like a traditional fork. It actually had like a thicker wood grip, and it's probably the most reminiscent to the feeling of like a gun in his hand, which allowed for the entire sequence to take place. And honestly, we got some nice development with him because even though he had no gun, he was actually being relatively composed on the walk home, which was nice. And then of course he had all the Kengo stuff, which was basically the ultimate game of hide and seek. Pretty clever stuff because not only do we get to see that our wife here is actually fairly competent. Mutsumi's an interesting character because I've seen plenty of shows where there's like the quote-unquote head of the family, but you're like, she doesn't feel like a head of the family, or he doesn't feel like a head of the family. It's like, okay, they have the position, but it's like if they could choose not to have it, they would because it feels like it's something that they have to do rather than they're actually fit for it. No, the paperwork, the scolding of the family, she actually does feel like a top dog, a part of the food chain, and even when Kengo thought he could best her, once again proved that little sis knew what she was doing. It's actually kind of sweet because it further flexes like how much she cares about Tayo, because what ends up happening is he steals Tayo's identity and throws him into the garbage chute behind a painting, and because she notices certain things like how he'll always open the door for her, like just little mannerisms, I just thought it was really sweet while also just flexing just how crazy it is. And I think one of the best things the show did early on was establish that there is basically superpowers in this world. Because whether it's the questionable big bro with like I forget what he has, but like the strands that he like manipulates to cut apart vehicles and stuff, a character who can just quickly disguise himself within a second, a character like there's a lot of supernatural nonsense, and they roll with that. They say, hey, this is anime, this is manga. We can be silly and make you understand this is the furthest thing from our version of reality. And because of that, you don't have to look at a character throwing a fork through a sniper rifle or a character within a fraction of a second turning into another person, or how did he adjust his size. Like, it works because they roll with the nonsense, and it just allows it to be unfiltered, pure fun. I really wish this show aired on any other day than the weekend, because I think if it aired on a Friday or even like a Wednesday, I do think it would help with people watching it. Just like there's so much anime airing over like the stretch of like Saturday to Monday that it does get buried on top of it being a Disney Hulu show. I really like it. I think this is one of the most fun anime you can watch. I still stick by with what I said last week. No. If you're putting cyanide in my curry, you cannot with a straight face say, this is all because of our training, we gotta keep us... No. 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 Give me normal freaking food. Stop locking the bathroom. But you know what? Our boy is fitting in. I mean, he's catching baseballs like this, tossing them back like rockets being fired at you, and apparently people are calling him the ninja just with how he's walking anymore. So it's like, he's blending into the insanity, but it's too late for him. He's already too deep into the nonsense. Last week was his moment to get out of jail, and he didn't, so now he's gonna have to eat cyanide-based curry for the rest of his freaking life. It's seemingly they both love each other, so it works out, but if you ever find yourself in a situation like this somehow, run for the god. Take Shaggy and Scooby-Doo's mantra of nope and just running the hell away from those ghosts, because that shit is not worth it. But for an anime, as an anime watcher, it's so freaking fun. I still think it's like a Demon School meets Assassination Classroom style vibe, and I'm absolutely loving it. And honestly, the past 2 episodes I think are even stronger than the first 2, so we know we're on a good momentum. But let me know what you're thinking, because we're now a month into this show, and as much as I'm enjoying it, it does feel like a lot of people are sleeping on it. So what are you thinking of it? I know source readers are hyping up some arcs to come, and it does feel like we're starting to get into the momentum now that characterization and intros are out of the way. So let me know what you're feeling down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell so you know if I want to upload more, and like I mentioned, got those full live reactions over on my Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we have Gareth Green, Durberg Jude, Third Dynasty, Arthur Kunha, Fabian, and Tycho. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.